Okay, look, I already know I'm not the most qualified person to talk about this chart because compared to other people at my skill level, I am very bad at this chart. But for the sake of going through all of the ECFA 8 qualifiers, I'm going to try to do it. So this is Chatterbox 9. It was originally released in Notice Me Benpai 2, and it is part of the ECFA 8 qualifiers, which is a set of 6 songs, one of each block difficulty from 9 to 14. And this chart actually has a decently long history in the modern sense. It's been used in 6 different events. It's been used in Storm 2019. It was also used in Rumble in the Prairie 11, 11.5, and 12, which RIP 12 didn't actually happen, but it was in the pack. And I'm still sad about RIP 12 not happening. I was supposed to tear it up with that. Other than that, it was also used in ECFA 2019, which is the last ECFA online event. That was in the upper division. And then it was also used in Raj 6. So something to note about the fact that this was an ECFA 2019 is that, like I said, it was in the upper division. This is a 9, right? This is not, a lower or middle division song. And once I start talking through it, we're going to realize that there's things that are more difficult about this chart than meets the eye compared to other 9s, which I think makes it a really fitting qualifier for ECFA 8. So let's go through it. I will be kind of pausing along the way as I find things to talk about. So let's take a stab at it. Yeah, let's see. Already off the bat, there's rhythmic difficulty, right? Because this 16th note pattern does not resolve on a downbeat. This is the downbeat here, and so this note is actually a 30-second note after. So you need to make sure that you can play these 2 notes as 16th notes, but you need to make sure that these 2 notes, the 2 notes after, have some more space between it. So it's almost going to feel like there's a pause or a break between these 2 notes. And I guess there is something to be said about this is only a 30-second note after. So that's a pretty tight amount of time after a quarter note, right? But when we're only at 110 BPM, the amount of space between the downbeat and the 30-second note is actually decently substantial. So just really give this note the space it deserves. And you may have to exaggerate the timing between these 2 notes more than you expect. There's a flam there. Flams are a pretty common theme in this. Some double steps, 24th into 16th plus flams, kind of all at once. Or one after another. Double step flam, and then the shifting grids of rhythms. There was a crossover here, but in the times that I've played this chart, there's nothing particularly offensive, or if you double step things, I've never been in a situation where I've been put onto the wrong foot for another pattern. So I can look deeper into this, but it seems like in general it's pretty safe to double step. So as far as this main rhythm goes, it starts with a forced double step. So for example, this up arrow is on the right foot, so this right arrow will also be played on a right foot, and they are each cued by mines. So and I guess it's pretty intuitive, right? Your right foot's already here. You want to make sure it doesn't hit the mine, so you move the exact same foot over to the next note. When it comes to hitting this flam, the way I like to think about this is to think about what it's like to play this rhythm without the flam. And then just place the grace note after. And the timing of this note, this grace note, is not something that I think about very explicitly. It's just something that you're going to have to play the song multiple times before you kind of figure out how that grace note timing works out. But as long as you're anchoring yourself to the note that comes before it, then it's going to be really easy, right? Because if you ignore this, it should be very possible to just play Yeah, it's the grace note could be hard, but you should at least make sure that these 4 notes, can I highlight just these 4? You want to make sure that those 4 notes are just like in the money. And if there's anything to mess up, it should be this. I've talked about this. This is kind of like the same rhythm that's in binary, actually. I see this in 2 parts. I see this as the 24th rhythm, and then I see this as the 16th note rhythm, and it's glued together. The meeting point of these 2 rhythms is that 8th note. So think about how you would play and subdivide between the 2. So first, I think of this 24th. And then the other is tuck-a-dum, suck-a-bone. Really use this as a bridge. Make sure you get to this note before you start playing the 16th note. Because a really common mistake is that there's 6 notes here, so it just kind of like blends into like a 5-lit, like plus a downbeat, like almost accidentally playing like 20ths through this. Yeah, just make sure that these are 2 distinct rhythms that are played 24ths and 16ths. And that's really the main challenge of the beginning, because it could be challenging because it's kind of like one after another between the double step, the flam, and then that shifting rhythm. When it comes into the section that comes after, there is a lot of space. Really anchor yourself to the timing of the bass in the song. There's a bass that's just playing constant 8th notes. Dum, 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 bum, 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 bum. There's also like this hi-hat and like click or like snare type thing going on 2 and 4. Anytime there's really a shifting rhythm, every single time there's a shifting rhythm, just make sure that you're finding the meeting point between when the rhythm changes. You want to make sure that you get to this note on time before you change rhythms. So this is 24ths into 12ths, and it bridges on this down arrow. So just make sure you get to that downbeat. Another way to think of it too is like, if you're focusing on this downbeat, right? There's actually like a really strong kick drum that plays in the song that you can line up with. Yeah, same with like this meeting point, to like have a pause. If you really want to think about making sure you're lining up your feet correctly with the song, there's a kick there too. Kind of this 24th is going to be slower than you think it is. I would say, I know there's no shifting rhythm here, but just to make sure you have checkpoints to line up with in general, try to find your place in this down arrow. Because I think it's easier to play, if we had to play just with this rhythm, it'd be a little bit easier. So the only thing that's actually making this more challenging is that there's a pickup that happens beforehand. So rather than that, just make sure you get to here. 1, 2, and then play the rest of the rhythm after. 1, 2. That's another useful kind of timing reference to make sure you're landing on. It's also important that there's a lot of like, there were a lot of 24th, 12th note related things that are like kind of triplet based. Make sure that when you get to this section after Measure 24, that you start switching your brain into thinking more about 16th note patterns. Yeah, I think that crossover, not offensive to do a double set. Like when you cheat crossovers, it's really only scary when the note that comes after is an up or a down arrow, because then it's kind of like that 50-50 ambiguity between what foot to play on. But in this case, like you would double step with this on the, like you end up double stepped here, but then the pattern that comes after starts on a right arrow anyways, so it's like not a big deal. Yeah, same here. Every single shifting rhythm, just think about what the rhythms are and where the bridge is. This is 3 16th notes, and then the 24th notes bridged by this left arrow. More shifting rhythms. There's just a lot of it. There's a lot of those grid changes. Yep. So similar thing here, right? But we're not playing this flam coming from an 8th note. We're playing this flam coming from a 16th note. But I think the general principle still applies, where I want to think about how to play this rhythm as if this grace note was in here. And then just place it after. It's okay for this grace note to be a little bit messed up, because I guess I'll say it's more acceptable for this grace note to be messed up because this is a very weird timing. But, you know, this rhythm is very easy. So anchor yourself to understanding how to play this rhythm. And then if there's any one arrow to mess up, it should be this one. And like I said as well, the more you play this song, the more that this grace note timing is going to make sense. But it's going to take some practice. I'm definitely not timing this on purpose. Is that the only one? That might be the only one that leads in from a 16th note. Oh, there's another one. I spoke too soon. A lot of this is just repeated from the beginning. Some step jumps. Let's see here. This crossover. Yeah, this crossover is also not particularly dangerous to double step because the next pattern that will come after starts on the right arrow anyways. So. Okay, so this is actually weird because most of the flams were coming after the primary note. So this is the grace note that actually leads before. And this is actually a very small quantization. So make sure to anchor yourself onto these 3 notes. You know, playing 3 8th notes is very easy. And then make sure to squeeze this note in before, but really focus on making sure that the timing of this note is landing on the beat. Da. And then nothing too crazy. There's like one hard rhythm at the end. Some more step jumps. So here's this. That the offbeat triple has been known. Actually, let me look it up. It's been known as kind of like the impossible rhythm. Let's see here. Offbeat triplet. I'm pretty sure if I search offbeat triplet, I'm gonna get an Adam Neely video. Yeah, it's been referred to as the unperformable rhythm. Take that as you will, but it is very hard. Hard in a way where I'm also just not actively thinking about how I'm doing this rhythm. But I guess on the principle of how I've approached rhythms in the previous sections, really try to ground yourself in getting these 2 notes right, and then meeting at the end here to play this note right. This section here is just the normal 12th note, like repeated 12th notes, but starting on an upbeat. It's weird. Maybe for this section, play more visually. Another way is just to practice the song more and really just get a feel for it. Anytime I've had to play an offbeat triple in an ensemble setting, it's just been something that we practice together and we feel it out together. But that doesn't really apply. Like you can't really, you can't play Stepmania by feel. So my only advice is practice. Or listen to the song. But that would still require you to practice and feel. So, you know, to each their own on that section, but I'm not looking forward to playing this. Out of the qualifiers, I think I'm probably best at Turning Point, which is weird. The 10 is hard. Knots is hard. Critical Crystal, is that the 11? That's hard. Turning Point's a 12. I don't know, man. These qualifiers are all hard. All in all, I think this chart really just like tests your patience. I think that's why this chart has made its appearance in so many tournaments as a 9, because it is really challenging. It really tests how deliberate you are with placing your rhythms. I think the biggest advice is like take your time, let the notes breathe and have their space, and really, really understand how the rhythms relate to the song, and get a lot of practice into understanding how 16th notes change into 24th notes, how 24th notes shift out into 16th notes, and all that. That's all I have for this song. Thanks for watching. I cannot wait to just bomb the crap out of this song. I'll catch you guys tomorrow.